Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 should have a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. There's the white flag from Barney the Flagman. 1 lap to go at Long Beach. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams.
Yeah, can really hold him off. He looked like he's started to gap Cantonio just ever so slightly. Got about half of a second. It's been hovering right around there. Oh, Cantonio really pushing. He's sideways out of turn number 1. But Rayleigh just keeping that car pointed in the right direction. Nice and smooth, able to keep it going. It's going to be tough. Antonio knows that there's not very many chances, even if he can get close enough to him to make a move. So we'll see as they come through 6 and 7, head toward turn 8 onto the backstretch.
Deeper in the field, nothing changing. Lap traffic ahead, it's Kevin Peak and Bradley Alvis right in front of our race leaders down East Seaside Way. And to turn number 9 for the final time, lap traffic in the way, and Rayleigh goes for it on Peak. He sends it into turn 9. He knows he can't wait. He knows he can't give an opportunity to Kevin Cantonio. Cantonio's going to take it anyway, ships it into the hairpin, and Rayleigh's going to get away. Thomas Rayleigh is going to be a race winner in the North American Racing League. A last lap bump and run wasn't enough. This man wins at Long Beach.
Wow, what a finish coming through that hairpin. I thought they were all going to wad it up. We had lap traffic in there, staying in there.
Now that we're back in the swing of things properly for this NRL GT3 season, the championship is just around the corner for the AM field here in Season 9. Tonight we have our final international date of the season. It's of course at the ever-majestic Suzuka circuit, as you see here this evening. After this, it's right back to the States for the final 2 rounds here of the AM season. Welcome to Pitstop TV in the virtual Suzuka, Japan. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Chris Winstone alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of NARL. I can't, it's been 9 seasons now, and I can't get that out right real quick. Anyways, NARL GT3 Season 9. Tonight's coverage from Japan, as you saw, is brought to you by Muradness, by JS Consulting, and by Screw Compressor Service. And Chris, here we are, Suzuka. You ran here last week in the pro race. What was it like?
Well, it's a fun track. It was exciting. Lap 1 provides plenty of chaos with the, tricky braking, especially on cold tires into turn 1, and so a lot of guys trying to make moves. There's different lines through there, and then as the race went on, it gets hot, and the track gets pretty greasy, which makes those tricky braking zones even more difficult. So it'll be interesting to see who can actually control the back end of their car here. I think that's going to be pretty important today.
I would agree, as these guys, we have 24 drivers here this evening. Bit of a smaller field than we're used to with the North American Racing League. It feels like no matter the division, we typically have stacked fields, so a little bit lighter tonight as the season wears on, and some guys look up at the point standings, maybe think, hey, I've got no shot. I'm not one of those, personally, Chris. I would stick in the season as long as I can, but that said, here are the point standings coming into this evening's race. Pierre Thompson up top with Miguel Alcrudo and Jose De Leo tied in second. That is the battle. Throw in Emiliano Almiron, and I think we've got ourselves a pretty solid 4-car fight for the championship. That said, 3 rounds to go. That's 6 races. Honestly, anybody on the left side of this graphic probably has a chance. Obviously, the further you go down, less of a chance. It's going to be harder for guys like Cooper Brownell or Mason Houseman, Thiago Tabela, it's going to be harder for them to make up points and get into the fight. But I think technically, right now, before we go racing tonight, they have a shot.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the points can tighten up. You never know what's going to happen. People can miss races. As we see right now, Pierre Thompson, our points leader, he didn't get to put in a qualifying time because I think he was running a little bit behind. Life happens, and that can happen, and you show up a little bit late, and now he's going to have to work his way back through the field, which gives some other guys some chance to show up. Jose De Leo, that's another guy who showed up with about 2 minutes left. He was in the session. I think he finally got out on track with about 30 seconds left. So he didn't get to do much warm-up. So that kind of stuff, it mixes it up, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for some guys here tonight.
And Pierre Thompson will not get a lap in here during qualifying ending now. So Almiron will lead us to the green today for our sprint race. That'll, of course, begin the evening here for the AM field. Let's take a look, though, through the season schedule and see how we got here. Of course, this is round number 6. It was Watkins Glen 2 weeks ago. That will be the finale, though, for the pros later on in May. Tonight, Suzuka, then on to VIR in a couple of weeks, and Road America to cap things off on May the 14th. Some great races coming up. I'm excited specifically for VIR, but man, these are 3 really good racetracks to end the season. So I know we've been talking, saying many great things about this schedule the whole way leading up to each of these races, and certainly it's a solid one. So as these guys get ready to go racing, let's go ahead. We've got the cars on grid. Let's hit that first and meet our 24 starters for round number 6 this evening. On pole, Emiliano Almiron there in the Mercedes AMG. The 22 car will lead us to the green from Argentina. Starting second, Anthony Wayand. He was really good a couple of weeks ago at VIR. Let's see what VIR Watkins Glen. Let's see what he's got tonight, though, at Suzuka. Back in row 2, Miguel Alcrudo out of Puerto Rico alongside Devin Jenkins. Still in that Ferrari, of course, he's locked into that car choice for the season. Back in row 3, Mason Houseman, Dominic Turcan, a very American, although still somewhat Canadian, row 3, as Dominic is out of Canada driving the American Chevrolet Corvette. Jose De Leo, row 4, alongside Thiago Tabela, and back in row 5, Armando Aarons and Alex DeMarco, both in a couple of Mustangs.
Then we have P11, Christian Gritzko that's pretty good, strong qualifying performance from him. I think one of the best he's had this season, next to Armando Bayron in 12th. And we have Mark Booley lining up next to Dean Kerr, racing out of Ireland, so it's pretty late for him right now.
Well, we found out last time, remember, he's in California, but originally from Ireland.
Oh, that's right. So that's right. He's actually going to be awake for this one. Mitch Buenaventura lines up 15th next to Jeff Denardi. Further back, David Stevenson lines up next to Cooper Brownell. Then we have Robert Guadagnoli and Justin Cornette to round out the top 20.
That's a newcomer there in Justin Cornette. He stole Pierre Thompson's number. It'll be Logan Smith and Clifford Allison there in row number 11, and Pierre Thompson and Diego Mello there at the very back of the field. We're coming around to get the green flag this time by Emiliano Almiron at the front of the field. Let's take a look at your Whiplash SimCam's race details. There you see the 20-minute sprint to lead us off, the 40-minute feature coming up. The rest, well, all of it is the same as we come to expect all season long. It's the same setup for the same kind of racing here this evening. We know it, we love it. GT3 cars in the North American Racing League. Here we go down the hill to the front straightaway, and the AM drivers get going and racing down at Suzuka.
Nice clean getaway from the leader. That helps a lot because this braking zone on cold tires is really tricky. It helps to have all that room. See if everybody can keep themselves together through here. A little side by side. We see DeLeo making a nice move down the inside. He's going to settle in. He's got the inside moving it. Now he's going to settle in line. That's good. And Mason Hausman, look at the progress he's made. That's a great start for him. That's exactly what you need.
Mason Hausman right to it, battling with Anthony Way, and this is for third spot. Jenkins in the Ferrari just behind Dominic Turcotte, rather, in the Corvette right behind that. And then Jose DeLeo. Are we going to have three wide up here to the Degners?
It's definitely getting jumbled. It's chaotic. Hausman wisely backs out. That's not really where you want to go. Side by side through there. Watch the late moves. A little argy-bargy, but clean. I love it. These guys are tough but fair. Now we got to watch here because some trouble can happen at the hairpin, but everybody behaves.
Nice and tidy in the hairpin. Maybe not. A couple of cars with problems. Mark Booley out in the dirt in the hairpin, and he's not alone. Justin Cornette and some others. There goes a Ferrari. That's Cooper Brownell in the number 49. He's backed it in, and he has got, I think, terminal damage here for the sprint race at least. Jeff Denardi up the road. He's got problems. He's in a barrier, but at the front of the field, Emiliano Almiron leading as the exit spoon for the first time.
It's great. Looks like Alcrudo's staying, well within tow range, so we should get a good fight between these two. We'll see if DeLeo and Hausman can maybe pick up the pace and get up there and join them and see what Turcotte's got. It's good to see Turcotte up at the front. We don't always see him up there. Ooh, that's a dangerous curve to be getting on. That is risky business, but well held.
Yeah, Devin Jenkins out wide there out of 130R. And to complete lap number 1, it is going to be Emiliano Almiron down the hill to lead lap 1 over Miguel Alcrudo. That's going to be a fun fight, I think, here in this sprint race. Of course, the top 8 will invert. I was looking at the number 7 car. He is 8th. That is Armando Aarons currently in that Mustang in position number 8. Let's go back, though, and take a look at what just happened on lap 1, because there was, as you put it, some argy-bargy to get this race started. This is back into the S's. It was mostly clear through here. Really, I think it was entirely clear through the S's. The first bit of, I guess, not clear would have been Mark Booley here into the hairpin.
Yeah, trying to see where it all goes wrong. We still got some time as they come up the hill. Definitely gets a little chaotic and jumbled there. You got to make good business decisions, as they say, and a lot of guys definitely did that. And it's hard because you got to balance that with, it's kind of hard to overtake here sometimes, so
and here's
overtakes
where it
at the
goes
start
wrong.
are valuable.
Braking zone into the hairpin. He just got loose on his own, got off into the barrier. That's going to be some rear brake, I think, just bringing that car around.
Yeah, I wonder if he didn't get up on that inside curb. But kind of want to avoid it. It unsettles the car as you're trying to brake.
Yeah, I was looking ahead, thinking maybe something happened ahead of him and he got into it, but or even the car behind him, Buenaventura, but no, he just got loose, I think, transitioning and went off the racetrack. Cooper Brownell comes around the corner. He's finally got a logo on the car, Sweaty Socks Racing, and he goes off the nose. I believe that was Stevenson, it was. And then Denardi just pulls off. That was beautiful how that worked out. Not for him, but for us.
Yeah, that kind of looked like something just failed. Something broke.
So he's
Kinda
gonna be right
straight-lined it there.
behind, or rather right in front of. Oh, he got so Brownell got into him. Brownell dove the corner big time, and then he gets hooked. So then Denardi, does he have damage maybe and pull off? Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, yep.
His car was broken from the contact with Cooper.
I mean, yeah, and it's interesting that he would just. I don't know if he just wouldn't turn at all, or if I can't.
Yeah,
Did he lift there?
Cooper Brownell just completely bombarded that corner, and then watch Denardi, watch his hands.
No.
When he turns to the right here, Chris, it's got nothing. It's got nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, he backs off, but it's a little bit too late, and that's rough.
I want to get one more
That's a
look.
hard way to end it real early.
I think we've got a camera that can show if that left front got broken here. Yeah, absolutely. Left front broken. So it completely broke the suspension there to the left front, and he has no clue. He just continues around the left-hand corner, and then as soon as he goes to turn right, it just straight lines off into the barriers.
Yeah, that's the worst, because, I mean, that might not have felt that bad as that in the car. Sometimes it doesn't feel so bad, and then until you get to a corner, and that's how you find out how broken everything is.
And so Emiliano Almiron leads down the final straight here. Jose DeLeo problems.
Oh, no.
He's turned around in Spoon.
That is an easy place to do that. And he was having, I was watching him in qualifying. He had, a few exciting moments there, and a couple of them happened in Spoon on his qualifying laps. He held it together then, but man, with a little warm-up, that's why you really got to try to get in early. It sucks when you don't have, oh, well, he just kind of drove into the back of, didn't expect him to be so slow there.
Yeah, I mean, he just got straight in the back of Devin Jenkins, and looks like Mason Houseman put a dive on Jenkins here into Spoon. Houseman gets by clean. A little bit of contact. And then Jose just right there gives a shot
yeah.
to Jenkins and turns himself around.
I mean, it doesn't seem like that much, but it's, you're already on the ragged edge there through Spoon. There's no, as far as grip goes, no extra. Like, you're right there at the absolute limit. And that bump, I don't know if it was, it was probably unintentional, but sometimes, you follow close, you rattle his cage a little bit, and maybe get a little overtake on him, but that time came off worse.
Battle here for 15th spot. Actually, a handful of spots, really. They're all just kind of chain racing here, and Diego Melo is right behind David Stevenson and Dean Kerr. This little battle between Stevenson and Melo is for 15th. But it's really just a chain of race cars, a bunch of guys all together, beginning up here with Thiago Tabela in the Aston Martin, and it just continues on back through a handful of drivers. And Gritzko is actually right behind Tabela here. This could be a big, big day for Christian. I know he's had some rough days this season. It has been a rough one for Christian. And it all began back at, Red Bull Ring, get the season started with the tribute to his late grandmother, and it's been just, unfortunately, bad luck since then.
Yep. Yeah, it's good to see him in the top 10, and, I mean, I've raced with him in the past. He's a great guy. I think we all like him. Oh, that was really wide there. That's almost the best option. It's just don't go over that curve. But yeah, it's good to see him up here. He's putting the pressure on him for sure. He's got time. We'll see if he can make a move here down at the end. He's going to get a really great tow.
These guys figure out turn one. Weather conditions there on your screen. 69 degrees in the air and 99 on track. And it is going to be a move around the outside for Gritzko, trying to get this 8th position. A little bit of contact, but Gritzko held his ground. That was beautiful stuff.
That was great. That was very nice work. And he's right into the clutches of the Mercedes. This is where you want to be. You can hear that thing right behind you.
Yeah, Armando Bejaran roughed him up a little bit there. through the S's. A little bit of contact, that's okay. You know, I know league rules typically prohibit that kind of contact, that kind of moving for position, but when you do get gloves off racing at GT3 cars, let me tell you, when you go NASCAR style on these things, it is a lot of fun. I don't recommend it in this kind of league, that's for sure. This is kind of a higher standard sort of league, but if you're just roughing up your buddies, man, it can be a lot of fun to lay a bumper like you're in NASCAR racing or something. But here, we want to keep it clean as we've got a good fight brewing between these two, Almiron and Alcrudo at the front of the field. I feel like we've been saying their names a lot. And then we can tie that right into our power rankings here today, Chris. And here's a look at them.
Yeah.
Pierre Thompson has jumped 2 spots to the top of the board. Obviously, this race, going a little bit wrong for him. He's down here in 12th spot, but he has come up through about half the field. A little bit loose there off of Spoon, and we'll try to hold position over Buenaventura. But Pierre Thompson, with the sweep at Watkins Glen 2 weeks ago, jumped up big time. Zoleo and Alcrudo fell. Almiron holding steady in 4th. Houseman jumped up a bunch, and I think he's going to continue doing so here today. But Pierre Thompson, it seems like as soon as you get a big lead out there in the power rankings, you're doomed for some kind of issue. Last week it was DeLeo with problems. Today, Thompson.
Yeah, it does seem to balance itself out, and that's, you know, good news for the rest of the guys, and it's kind of why these things always tend to stay tight. Though, that said, Pierre Thompson is in 12th. We've got 9.5 minutes left, and 8th place is visible for him. I think it's not outside of the realm of possibility for him to actually maybe get close to the invert.
He could certainly get top 10. 8th is possibly even there. And you mentioned the invert. That is 8th place. That was the battle we were just watching with Gritzko and Savella. That was for the invert position. But right now, here we go. Nose to bumper. And a move now.
Gonna defend.
Alcrudo around the outside, tried to cross up underneath the 22. That's like a dirt track move we would have seen at Lucas Oil last night. It didn't quite work. But he's not done.
He gets you a good run. There's opportunities here. It's hard to make a move through Spoon, but you can. It's one of the good places to do it if you can. It's risky. There you go. Nice little bump. See.
Must have heard what I was talking
about. And I mean, that's not
runs.
always going to be on purpose. That's a lot of times. It's again, you're struggling for grip so much there that you can't just slow down. The car will spin if you put that much weight over the front. So you're largely committed to your line and a lot of your pace.
I'd like to just think Miguel heard what I was saying about bumper cars with GT3 cars, but yeah, I mean it's incidental contacts. What I'm trying to get at.
Yep.
And now this run back down the hill for turn 1. There is some lap traffic ahead, actually. Jeff Denardi nearly a full lap down after getting repairs. He's still out ahead of these guys for now, but for how much longer? I mean, they should be able to run him down or close to it, I think, by the end of this race. They have about 10 seconds until they get to him and counting. And honestly, Wayand is not far back. I actually want to go back to the power rankings because he had a great round at Watkins Glen 2 weeks ago. Started on the front row here today. Anthony Wayand is one to watch as this evening develops. He is new to the top 10 of power rankings. Look at that bobble. Pierre Thompson, though, in trouble. Alex DeMarco with him. Back in turns 1 and 2, I think. Or the S's, maybe.
Yeah, it might have been on the exit of 2 there. Can get pretty spicy sometimes.
See what happened here between these two. You see the mix-up into turn 1. DeMarco was trying to block the 24, and Thompson finally got to his inside. A little bit of, well, argy-bargy. That's literally, hey, I'm coming through.
Yeah, and it didn't really work out for him. That's kind of the risk there, but...
Let's see this again. Yeah, down to turn 1. DeMarco, that's hard to say if that was moving under braking or an early turn-in. But then off the corner, watch right here. DeMarco he was just trying to hold tough on the outside, and Pierre kind of washed over a little bit into him.
Yeah, I think that falls under racing incident probably. You hate to see it, so Pierre's bad day gets worse. He's in there, yeah.
Little Pruitt fade there maybe
wise.
from Alex. And here off the corner, he just holds his ground, and Pierre just kind of comes over into him. That's going to be an interesting disagreement between those two, and one that is sure to be costly for our points leader coming into today, Pierre Thompson. Points leader, power rankings leader, that's not what you want to have in the sprint race. That's going to put you well behind the mark the rest of the day. It's one thing if you go and win the sprint race and then have that kind of spin, you know, minute 15 in the feature race, because you've got 30 or 25 minutes after that to recover. And you already have the good points from the sprint to fall back on. But here, doing that in the sprint race with no time to recover, I mean, that is going to be an extra damning penalty, kind of self-serving penalty for Pierre Thompson. And I do wonder if the admins will assess any actual penalty, as Bob Guadagnoli just had a problem in the Casio Triangle.
I will say I haven't seen. I've noticed chat is still enabled in the session, so we might not have a steward in.
I thought I saw a couple of spectators when I signed up for the session today. And I figured those would have been admins, but that may be the case, as here's the battle with Donardi and, or rather, Mello and Stevenson. Mello in 14th, Stevenson in 13th. And there's really no fight up there for the invert right now. That is Christian Gritzko holding 8th. There he is out ahead of that red and white Aston Martin for Thiago Tavilla. So really no fight here for this spot currently. And of course that theory of Pierre Thompson, fighting through this field to get up to 8th is, well, out the window, as he is now down in 18th position. So problems there. And Jose De Leo, after his spin with contact with Devin Jenkins, De Leo's down here in 16th, so not much better. I mean, this is everything that Al Crudo and Almiron would need for the championship today. This is a huge round for them so far.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, you can't ask for better luck, honestly, and they're just getting it falling their way. What we gotta watch for is, you know, and we can see they kind of haven't been battling too terribly hard, which I think is smart. It's the sprint race. First or second is really good. You want to win it, but you want to be in position to win the feature race and scoop up the rest of the points. So I think they're just playing it safe now, but we'll see how spicy that gets later in the feature, especially.
Oh, DeMarco a little all over. Wonder if that contact with Pierre Thompson upset that car at all, as there goes DeLeo looking to the inside into the S's, no dice.
DeLeo's looking a lot more comfortable with the car. He had a spin earlier, but he's looking a lot more stable under braking, which is good. It's kind of his warm-up session. It's Mason having himself a good day. See if he can track down Turcotte here. He's probably within earshot already of the car ahead of Turcotte. I think he's going to be able to hear him already.
I really enjoy this driver's eye POV so much. I'm glad we have it. I like to use it every broadcast we do. Even the sprint cars at Lucas Oil last night was fun to use it for. Just, it gives an idea of what it looks like as Turcotte blinks out there a little bit. Admittedly, the camera we have mounted for this driver's eye POV, it's not quite the same as you would have if you were actually in the cockpit in iRacing, but it's very close. I mean, to compare, here's my cockpit view. This is what I would be racing on if I was Mason Houseman here. This looks a little more realistic to me, and this is therefore our driver's eye POV shot, but you can tell it's a little bit lower down. It's like it's kind of hanging off the front of the camera, or front of the helmet rather, but it gives a really good perspective.
It does. It really shows you how, and I mean, different cars have, you know, obviously different views a little bit, but that was one thing I noticed switching from the Ferrari to the Mustang. As I got in it felt like I was in like a submarine or something, because it's just this narrow slit. That's all you can see at the front.
Here's
have
the
a nice
Lambo
between
for Diego Melo. So you're talking about different views between different cars. Here's the Lamborghini, the Huracan. Then let's go to the BMW, and you're way higher up. We match this camera to driver height. And so you're way higher up in the BMW, then move it to the Mercedes here for Dean Kerr, a little bit further back down, kind of in the car. I like this, by the way. I like being lower in the seat.
Yeah.
feeling like you're kind of in the car a little bit as opposed to, sitting up like this, and this makes you feel like a giant in the BMW by comparison.
True, but one thing that also will do for you is if you're a little bit higher up, anywhere you come across where there's, blind apexes going over hills, that is really helpful because you can actually get kind of a better view of it, and you won't miss those as much. Well, that was a great run through those two double right-handers there. Wise to block the inside.
That was the look from the Porsche for Mitch Buenaventura from the Northern Mariana Islands. We've got ourselves a fight up here for what I think might be the white flag, actually. Let's see. We don't have a great view of Barney. He's still holding the green flag down there. You can just barely see him underneath the flag stand. For whatever reason, they don't use the flag stand on iRacing. I don't know why. They put Barney down along the wall as Diego Mello's got trouble over here in Spoon.
Oh, no.
Let's confirm that we're going to get the white flag still before we take a look at that replay. I don't want to miss the finish if this is it. As out of the final corner here at Suzuka, it will be one more lap. White flag then for Emiliano Almiron. As a fight. Never mind, that's not a fight. It's a lap car right behind these guys. Let's see what happened to Melo then. To have him turned around with 2 laps to go in Spoon. Loose under braking, must have caught the grass.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, honestly, I've done that plenty of times without touching the grass, so that is a spin I can empathize with.
And then back up to the lead. Battle here. Almiron and Al Crudo. There has been no position change between these two. Emiliano's had it the entire race. We're the Degners for the final time here in our sprint race. I just don't know that there's any beating the 22 car right now, straight up. It seems like he is really, really hard to pass. And this is usually a pretty racy track.
Yeah, what I'm wondering, though, is, I mean, because if you're a Crudo, one thing about the invert and the sprint feature format is if you're sitting here in second place and you're thinking, okay, I'm slightly faster than this guy, it'd be really hard to get around him. Maybe I just don't risk it because then I'm just going to get put in front of him. And then, that can help. If you think you got a little bit of a pace advantage, then you get placed in front with the invert, you can maybe put a little gap on him. But we'll have to see if that's the case, because it doesn't look like they're kind of back and forth. I think they're each faster in different parts of the track. I think Al Crudo looked like he was faster in Degner's, and
I was a little shaky into the braking zone there for the triangle, but out of the final couple of corners, Emiliano Almiron will get back up through the gears, and he will win the sprint race here just barely at the line at Suzuka. So that's a big first win on the day for Emiliano Almiron over Miguel Al Crudo. A few more battles to the line. Here's Christian Gritzko trying to hang on to the invert spot over Thiago Tavela. He will. Really, once you get through the triangle, you're pretty much good for the downhill run, and sure enough, no change there. Dean Kerr comes home 11th in the sprint. Buenaventura hangs on to 12th. Stevenson 13th. The final real battle is teammates here. Mark Booley and Bob Guadagnoli. This is down here for 20th spot. This is the final little grouping of cars that are together. And really, once you get through this corner, this braking zone, this complex, you're usually done. It's just back on power to the line, but in that case, Guadagnoli goes off the track, Booley gets the best of him, so teammates swap spots. Booley finishes 20th, Guadagnoli finishes 21st. Clifford Allison will come around and complete the race in just a moment. Although he does miss the triangle. The alternate way around, I suppose, and then...
yeah.
Cooper Brownell will be back here along in just a moment to finish up this race in the Sweaty Sox. What's such a charming team name, with the Sweaty Sox 49. Now, the invert will flip Emiliano Almiron to 8th, Miguel Al Crudo to 7th, Wayand to 6th, Turcotte to 5th, Houseman will flip to 4th, Jenkins will start 3rd, Aarons and Gritzko will be your front row, with Gritzko getting the benefit of the pole when we go racing in our feature in about 6 more minutes or so. As Brownell will drive down the hill here to wrap up our sprint race at Suzuka Circuit. with that in mind, Chris, we can take a look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV in between races here. Sunday morning, that's our next broadcast. That'll be Texas Motor Speedway for the All-American Racing Network. Chris, we're trying to get you in there. Do you think you want to wake up on a Sunday morning and do some racing?
Oh, yes. I mean, well, I will say again, I'm spoken for this weekend. I'm going to Kansas Speedway to watch the race. I got some nice tickets. I'll be there all day. But I've already been running in that car and also in the O'Reilly car. Just basically anything I can get into to get a little bit of experience. And I'm looking forward to it. I had a lot of fun in that truck race at Daytona. That was good. I know it's a drafting track. It's different, but it's fun.
And maybe here soon we can get you one of these 2003 Cup cars, too, for the NORL Retro Series. They're going to Richmond Raceway this coming Monday evening. So, of course, our oval racing program here at Pit Stop TV, our NASCAR-style coverage is living strong. We have these 3 races, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday this coming week. And Chris, you've gotten in on it a little bit. You can join the Pit Stop TV Discord. We'll have more information on this in a second. You can join the Discord and make fantasy picks in each one of these leagues. So if you like watching NASCAR, or even Formula One for you road guys, and if you like playing along with the NASCAR fantasy game, the Formula One fantasy game, you can do the same thing with Pit Stop TV and these 3 leagues. And this is something we do hope to bring to NARL next season. We'll see. We're hoping to. I'll put that out there. It's not very hard to do. So if there's some interest, we'll bring it over to the roadside. But you can participate realistically in these leagues, and it gives you a little more reason to watch along versus just watching some sim racers do what you do on a weekly basis, right? You're getting ingrained in the broadcast. We're gonna feature some points totals and scores and stuff as we move forward and work on this little project. But Whiplash Creative and our new fantasy game here at Pit Stop TV has been a lot of fun to get going. So hey, if you're watching out there, if you want to get even more involved in what you're watching, whether it's your teammates, your friends, your family, this is, I think, something really cool for anybody to get into. It's completely free to play, and really all you got to do is pick some drivers, pick the winner, and that's the gist of it. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, I'll have a graphic up here just in a second. But those 3 races coming up: Texas Motor Speedway with NASCAR Cup cars for the All-American Racing Network Sunday morning. Then Monday and Tuesday nights, we've got NASCAR-style races with 03 Cup cars at Richmond and then ARCA cars at New Hampshire. And then next Wednesday, we also have the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series heading out to Knoxville Raceway. And of course, next Thursday, yes, very full schedule. Next Thursday, we've got NARL Pros at VIR. You can catch all of these broadcasts and more on the social media links down below: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the whole bunch. And the graphic I was mentioning for fantasy, well, here you go. You can use the Discord link at the bottom of this graphic. I can also stick one out in YouTube chat if that would help. But you can use that Discord invite and join the Pit Stop TV server. And that's really all you got to do. I mean, you got to go to the channels and make your picks and stuff, but I think that's pretty self-explanatory, Chris. It's been a lot of fun to get going, and I'm having fun doing it with each of these leagues while also broadcasting it. It's even adding a little bit of something special for me.
I had a great time. I did the I missed out on the last BRB one. I don't know what I was doing, but I just kind of spaced it. But the Daytona one, I had a lot of fun. I did not do very well. I think, like I joked before, I think I kind of brought my bad luck to those drivers. So sorry, the curse is real. But it is tons of fun. I think everybody should do it. I hope we bring it over to the road stuff. It's just, yeah, it's you know, it gives you an additional thing to watch where you're trying to figure out too, like, okay, who's good at what tracks, and you know, who should I pick here and this week. Oh, it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it to everyone.
And there will be drop weeks in each series, so don't worry if you missed out on the opening round or rounds. You can still get in and still catch up. There will be some drop weeks to keep everybody together. So with that said, Chris, I want to take a look at GT3 cars, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And so here you go, the iRacing GT3 category here for 2026. You never know if we might get an extra car or two later in the year, but this is what we have. We have, of course, the Acura, Aston Martin, Audi, Chevrolet, BMW, Ferrari, the Ford Mustang, the Porsche, Lamborghini, the McLaren, and the Mercedes across the 11 manufacturers that are entered in here in the GT3 category on iRacing. You see all the details there. The big thing is power ranges from 500 to about 600 horsepower. We have anything from inline sixes to just boxer 6 cylinders, V6s, V8s, V10s, all kinds of different engines, and they're all homologated to be in the same weight range and aerodynamic range, but they do each have their differences. They are, of course, based on their own production cars, so there's a little bit of variation, but all the same kind of formula in these GT3 cars. So if you're new to GT3, don't know what we're talking about here, maybe this helps you out a little bit. You can get an idea of exactly what these guys are racing here this evening and see some of the brands included in the lineup there on the right side of this graphic. But we've got cars headed to the grid, Chris, so let's go ahead and get down to our ATVO starting grid for the second time here this evening. And it'll be Christian Gritzko leading us to the green for our feature race tonight. He, of course, inverted from 8th place in the sprint to lead us to the green here for the feature. Armando Aarons will start over his left shoulder, and back in row 2, it'll be Devin Jenkins and Mason Hausman. Row 3 gives us Dominic Turcotte and Anthony Wayand, and to complete your invert drivers, Miguel Alcrudo and Emiliano Almiron, who finished up front in the sprint. And to complete your top 10, how about Thiago Tavela and Armando Bejeron?
All right, for the rest of the top 20, we have Dean Kerr lining up in P11 next to Mitch Buenaventura in P12. Then we have a BMW of David Stevenson starting next to Jose DeLeo, so he's still in a pretty good spot. He can definitely make something happen from there. P15, we have Alex DeMarco next to P16, Justin Cornett. P17, Pierre Thompson, and Diego Mello aligns up next to him. And Pierre, again, that's another one, P17. He's lucky it's a smaller field today. It's going to make his job a lot easier. We have Logan Smith in P19, and then to round out the top 20, Mark Booley.
Your final 4 on the grid, Bob Guadagnoli, Clifford Allison, Cooper Brownell, and Jeff Denardi. Your 24 cars gridding up for our feature race here at Suzuka. Thanks for joining us this evening. A big thank you to our partners with the series, of course, Maradness, JS Consulting, Screw Compressor Service Incorporated, and Rocket Designs on the series side, and our partners here at the channel, Whiplash Simcams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. Here we go, 24 cars, 40 minutes. This is our feature race at Suzuka for the North American Racing League amateur drivers. 24 cars strong down the hill to begin things for our feature race tonight. Gritzko on pole, and we go racing once again from Japan.
Very smart move there from Gritzko to just go as soon as the safety car dips in, which gives you a good advantage there. And let's see how long he can hold on to this lead. I don't expect it'll be forever, but I'm hoping he puts up a good fight. There we see Hausman makes a move up into P3. So already looking to get his own step. Oh, no!
Gritzko off into the barrier. Aarons takes the lead, and he gets loose just in front of Mason Hausman. Could we have a Mason Hausman win on the way today?
Oh, it's definitely possible, but absolute heartbreak for Christian. I mean, I can't believe it. Well, I mean, there's a bright and a dark to all of it, I guess. We'll see. Mason Hausman could have his best day of the season so far, and he's been deserving that. We know he's fast. He's another driver that's had some pretty rotten luck throughout the season. So
it just seems like nothing goes right for Christian Gritzko this season. Another addition in what has gone wrong for him in season number 9. Armando Aarons leads us now for your 200R up to Spoon for the first time in our feature race. Here's a look at the entire field coming around the bend. We'll, of course, going to look back at what happened here on lap number 1, but for now, Emiliano Almiron up to 6th. He's ahead of Alcrudo in 7th. And they'll head back down the hill here, down the back straightaway. Mason Hausman, though, 2nd place. This is a huge opportunity for him.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's a little unsure of himself on the cold tires. I know that can be a bit weird. Yeah, nice run out
Oh
wide on
no,
that.
Jenkins! Massive hit
Oh,
across
he's
the
gonna come
racetrack.
across the track.
Everybody misses him, but one goes off. That was Al Crudo out in the dirt, I think. It was Al Crudo. He gets back on the racetrack. He's actually going to pit. He must have some kind of damage. He does. The right front is junk, so maybe he wasn't missed. Maybe Jenkins got hit. Al Crudo to the pit lane. This is huge for the 544. It was a good night going. Now all three of our top drivers in the standings have had a problem tonight.
And there we see the guys waiting to capitalize on it. Turcotte, I mean, this has been a very eventful start. It's a 40-minute race, and we've got all this action going on already.
Let's see what happened here first to Christian Gritzko. Racing up here with Armando Aarons. He just got loose, cold tires. No one to blame but himself. That's tough.
That is. I mean, you gotta be jittery, you know, when you find yourself in front of that whole pack like that.
There's also an issue this opening lap for Dean Kerr. We spoke to him at Watkins Glen a couple of weeks ago. Here he is. He just gets up into, I think that was Bejaran, and goes for a slide himself. I mean, that was great avoidance, though, by everybody behind him.
Yeah, that was really good heads-up driving by the rest of the field back there. I'm surprised nobody else got wrapped up in it.
And then if we move up here for Miguel Alcrudo, there is the busy stuff in the hairpin. And, of course, it's going to be Devin Jenkins having issues when we come around 130R. Let's actually speed up a little bit. It's a little while until we get there. And here's the issue then for Devin Jenkins, that red and white Ferrari. Watch him. Dominic Turcotte just behind, curbing there. And, you know, we saw Jenkins pretty liberal on the curbing earlier. That's just a classic mistake here at Suzuka.
Yep, that's the curb that my coach was constantly warning me about. The, what was he calling the ice curb.
Yes.
Man, you go over that. The trick is, if you go over it, you just basically want to straighten the wheel, and it's, you know, it's going to kind of compromise your line going into that last chicane. But you can see that hard bump, it just pulls, the tire grabs that ledge there. There's like a drop off on the outside of that curb. The tire will grab that if you're going across it. So you just kind of got to straighten up and ride it like a rail and hope it, you know, hope you can get as far to the left as you can for the chicane. And here he goes over, and yeah.
It's a really big impact. Al Crudo, though, he missed the braking zone as a result of that. He actually hit the back end of Almirone's car, and that's how he got all this damage. So, I mean, wow, narrowly got missed. That's multiple Murtis mega misses right there. Let's take a look at that. Multiple.
Definitely.
He gets spooked by all of this, a little bit deep. Oh, and he got the grass, too.
Oh, that's what it was.
But then as he comes back on the racetrack here, you get a mega miss. You get a mega miss. Oh, my goodness. Gravel all over the racetrack there.
Yeah, that'll be fun coming out of there. It's already pretty slippery when you're coming out of that last corner, but...
And you see what it's done to Almirone's car. I think this is the damage from that impact. This is a replay of him coming down the pit lane. He came in for service. And, well, let's see. He might have had it before. He might not have. I definitely think that's from Al Crudo's hit. That is perfect. Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
Hello, who was that? Was one of the Muradnas cars, was that... Shoot, I have no clue, actually.
Must have happened before that for him, but yeah, who is that behind? Somebody went for a ride.
That was Cornette. That's who that is. Justin Cornette's a Muradnas guy. We haven't looked at him yet today. And, well, this is a good way to meet him, I guess. I mean, good way for us, not good way for him. So Justin Cornette coming around the bend. And he's going to get hit from behind. This is Cooper Brownell crossing under braking. Yeah, that's not ideal at all.
Yeah, I don't know what Cooper thought he was doing.
I'm not sure either, I'll be honest.
Might have looked better in his head, whatever it was, but definitely didn't pan out.
And now, battle for the race lead. Mason Houseman still right on the back bumper of Armando Aarons. Nothing has changed at the top end of the field. But we do have ourselves a good little 4-car race. A couple of Mustangs, a Mercedes, a Corvette. What more could you ask for? Well, I guess a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Porsche, maybe a McLaren.
I'd like to see a Ferrari up there. You know, it's kind of hoping, but we still got a little bit of variety. It's 2 Mustangs at the front, starting to look a little bit like the Pro-Am, but still, I think we do have a good mix. We always say we've got a good mix. It does look like here Mason Hausman is doing a better job potentially at just managing the pace. He looks comfortable. He knows how important it is to save tires. We'll see. Armando could be doing the same. I mean, you know, keep him close, but far enough back that he can't make a move.
Watching your top 4 here.
Sounds nice.
Nearly 8 minutes into our feature race, and these 4 have very clearly broken away. It is a 5-second gap back to Thiago Tavella in 5th. There he is. He's got Jose De Leo and Pierre Thompson breathing down his neck. So these 2, they had disastrous sprint races, but they're suddenly right back into it here in the feature, and I think they can easily fight. Oh, well, they ain't got to fight. Thiago Tavella into the attenuator. Can you believe it?
Oh, I think a lot of us have done that before.
That car's
you get
done.
T-bone.
Just toe. That car's done.
Back it in.
Yeah.
Would you get a penalty for that if you reverse to your box?
I think anything would have been better than going back on the racetrack. Thankfully, he did not. He started to. I got a little worried. I thought Thiago was going to try to drive it away, but no, that's a
better of it.
That's a straight to the pit lane or toe kind of thing. So let's see what happened here to Thiago. He was 5th. This now gives the spot over to Jose De Leo.
And look who's right behind him.
Yeah, Pierre Thompson. I was about to say they could maybe fight for 5th before the end of the race, but Thiago kind of handled that on his own.
And I mean, this is early. You've got a long way to go. Oh, yeah,
I really don't know what happened.
It might have been the gravel, though I think the gravel. I think you're only affected by your own gravel. I'm not 100% on that.
No, I think you're onto something there because I mean, why else would we have the debris flag if the debris is not going to affect you?
Yeah,
I think that
definitely
might be.
Can. Ooh.
I think that might be the debris across the racetrack from several drivers going off in the Casio Triangle. That is so unfortunate.
And I mean, it can already happen even without the gravel if you're pushing too hard, but if that makes it very slick. It looks like a lot of it's cleared off, but that might just be, oh yeah, I mean, you can see it. You know.
It's puzzling nonetheless. Here are your race leaders though. 10 minutes in now with 5 laps complete.
Now, if you're Mason here, you don't have to get too aggressive, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and just go for it around the outside. We've seen how that can work out.
Watch out! We've seen multiple incidents like that already today, and now look at that. 3rd and 4th are right back in it. This is the thing, man. Do you really want to fight like this early? I know Mason wants to go. Maybe he feels held up, but this battling is bringing Wayand and Turcotte right to the fight.
Yeah, you're almost better off just bump drafting him down the straight and just, just build yourself a little gap. You're going to feel the pressure, but you've got the pace, so you can chill on your tires, which is going to be huge later on in the race. The more tires you can save, the better. It's real wide there. That's going to be an off track. It's another thing too. If you can stay back there, build the pressure, let him get the off tracks. Let him wear his tires out. Let him use up all his fuel. You stay out a few extra laps. Quick splash and dash, and you can just overtake him in the pit stop and not have to risk the what we've seen to be a dangerous move around the outside of turn 1 and 2.
Hausman back on pursuit now of that number 7 car, and here they go out of Spoon, back down the hill. Hausman's right on him. But I will say, I noticed on this 81 car of Wayand, look at the right front of that car. It has damage. He has been into someone or something to start this race off, likely someone. And it has just dented the right front of that bumper a little bit. That's going to take the dive plane out of the right spot. It's going to mess with how it channels air over the rest of the car just a little bit. It shouldn't be too much of an issue, but it is going to change things just slightly for him. If anything, I mean, it's probably a single-digit percentage of downforce loss in the corner, but it's still going to hurt him and just burn those front tires over the course of the race.
Yep, and it's definitely not going to help him defend against DeLeo, who is looking to get as far up here as he can.
Pit stop, Diego Mello hitting the pit lane. This is Dominic Turcotte right behind Anthony Wayan. As Mello hits the pits, I wonder if this is... I mean, this is in the pit window, technically.
Yeah.
So he can make it to the end from here, but it looks like he might be having other issues.
Ooh.
He took a pretty run-of-the-mill pit stop. You know, I will say I love that Scott has put the amateur teams and races on the same format as the Pro and Pro-Am, because it used to be way back when that, at least I'm pretty certain, the amateur race would run before, I'm pretty sure it ran before the Pro race. We would do two races in one night with NARL when we initially had 3 divisions several seasons ago, and the AM race was shorter than the Pro and Pro-Am race. And so the pit stops are a little bit different. The racing just ended up being slightly different. Now it's the exact same format, exact same race between the two races. And the AM guys get a taste of what the pros have to do each week. And I like that the pit stop length is the same. You know, we know what to expect.
Yeah, it's good for them. They get the strategy down, you know, which, I mean, basically everybody in this league. Ooh, that was wide. Now, see, he knew. He just kept you straighten it up. I mean, still, that was a little risky. That was a really good save there. He's going to remember that one. Now you're sitting there just like, all right, let's calm down. We don't need to be doing all that.
Meanwhile, battle here, Alex DeMarco and David Stevenson, 9th and 10th. DeMarco going to hit the pits. This is a little bit early, but just like with Diego Mello, I mean, this is within range of going to the end of the race. I mean, this is a viable strategy for Alex DeMarco.
I think it definitely can be if you have a pretty significant pace advantage on the cars ahead of you, because the thing is, like, if the later you stay out, we know the more fuel you can save, which means the more you can shorten the pit stop. So it's kind of like you're investing in time that you're going to get back. So we see this great battle through the S's here. That's you're going to just get picked off.
Barely cleared Cornet there. You know, I think here's the thing with pit stops in this kind of race. Whether you pit now or you pit later, theoretically, you're taking the same amount of fuel, right? So the pit stop should be the same length. Whether you pit later or pit now, you know, whether it's 6 gallons or whatever the number is, theoretically, you need the same amount. But if you run longer, you're kind of forcing yourself, right? Like you're providing checks and balances on yourself, I guess, to make sure that you have the numbers down as perfect as you can get them. If you pit earlier, you're kind of shooting a little more in the dark. It's almost like you're closing your eyes and shooting the dartboard. You can still get the right result. You can still take the right amount of fuel, but you then have to be super disciplined and make sure that you save enough and don't see all that fuel and get a little bit racy and maybe start, diving a little harder into the corners. You've got to be so much more disciplined by taking fuel early, and you're adding more weight in the car for the rest of the race. So you're actually running more time on more weight, whereas if you pit later, you're running that first tank down to empty, and then you're only putting a little bit of fuel back in the car, so you're getting more time with less weight in the car. And I will say, Chris, while that does sound immediately like the way to go, some cars do have handling differences with lower weight, lower fuel capacity, where the car can actually get more on the jagged edge and more uncontrollable with less fuel. So it really does take some testing to figure out what's going to work for you, what is best for you. In general, the meta is to run as long as you can, pit as late as you can, take as little fuel as possible, and you can even possibly find that maybe you're good by 0.1 of a gallon or 0.1 of a liter, lap, whatever, to go one more lap if you run it out and dry the first time all the way as long as you can, and then take that little bit of fuel later. Maybe take less time in the pit lane that way, but theoretically, you're taking the same amount of fuel. Doesn't matter where you place that pit stop. But wow, what a dive from Anthony Wayand. I'll talk about that in a second. That's when we're at this point up. You just have to be more disciplined when you have all that extra fuel in the car if you do pit early. But since I was on my soapbox, I think we could take a replay of that pass.
Yeah, that was a pretty brave sin. I was kind of watching. It looked like Mason was starting to feel the pressure. You saw a little wiggle there, I think. Maybe he hasn't been saving as much tires as we thought he could have been. Maybe he was pushing a little harder, trying to keep up to the back of the leader. Let's see here. It's a nice run. He still looks pretty far back, but...
Oh, I don't know if that was entirely intentional from Wayand, actually. Did you see what I saw? Because it looked like he got a little close to that white line on driver's left on entry there to the hairpin, and I wonder if Wayand may have overstepped the bounds slightly and got in the grass a little bit. Here's going to be a good look. Ooh, right on the edge. Might have grabbed some paint, because yeah, then he door checks him. Pretty good. And Houseman straight to the pits.
Yeah, that's probably what you want. Like, all right, this is traffic. This is slowing me down.
And here's the
Let's
thing with
cool the
Mason
tires
Houseman,
down
too.
and keep going.
With his NASCAR background, he's going to be a little more used to putting a brand new set of tires on every pit stop. That's not the case here in this kind of series, this kind of structure. And yeah, he absolutely burnt more fuel than he meant to. 14.7 seconds, in the pit box. That is a lot more fuel than he will have wanted to take. Probably one extra step up on the gallons. And I know it's a little different metric to Imperial units, but for those who do use Imperial units, or standard units if you will, like I do, and like Mason I'm sure does, the gallon steps are kind of far between, so it can be like 5.3 gallons up to like 8 gallons or whatever it is. I mean, you just don't get quite the same control, I feel like, but yeah, that was clearly one more tick, one more step up on the fuel there for Mason Houseman than he would have liked, I think, to keep that pit stop a little bit shorter. So I would expect him to come out probably fourth behind these three and have to do some work to the end. And going back to the fact that he is NASCAR based, he's used to putting tires on every stop. I will say there was a little while NASCAR stock cars had like rock hard, super hard, durable tires from Goodyear on iRacing for whatever reason that you could double stint in a stock car, but those days are not quite the same anymore. And yeah, here, you're not taking tires in this 40-minute race. If you are, you're consigning yourself to the rear of the field. So you've got to make sure you take care of these things for every bit, all 21 laps of this race.
Yeah, every once in a while, I mean, there can be a scenario where you might, but I mean, it's very rare. Like you said, I mean, you're basically going to be, you only do that if you're already having a bad day and you're kind of trying to keep it from getting worse. Basically, it's a damage control thing. Like, all right, I got to go to the pits. It's broken. I may as well slap some new tires on it so I don't spin. Like, something like that, But, yeah, typically you won't see that. Ooh.
Yeah, battle here between Buenaventura and Bayron. This is maybe the best run we've seen out of Mitch in a long time. He's up to 6th position now. Granted, at least a couple of drivers have hit the pit lane. Of course, Mason House and Miguel Alcrudo have the chance to still come out and beat him. But I will say, actually, Alcrudo is down in 13th. There's no way he ends up beating Mitch, I don't think, on pace alone. DeMarco, yeah, he's not really in contention, so it really will be Mason Houseman. So this could be a battle for 7th, I think, once everything cycles out. And yeah, I mean, these guys are still going to have a solid result. And I'd say for Mitch Buenaventura, Armando Bejeron, David Stevenson, this might be the best result of the season for them.
For sure, and that's great to see. I mean, we got like we keep saying, we have the smaller field now, and I think there's a lot to take advantage of there with that. One thing I'm wondering, this track, there's a lot of places, and we saw the Porsche get a little wide, but track limits.
Yeah.
So that can definitely become a huge factor, and I'm wondering if later in this race we'll see who has been pushing a little too hard to try to capitalize on the small field, and that could play in favor for some other drivers still there too.
We'll say deeper in this field, Denardi, Kerr, and Alcrudo. This is their fight. Cooper Brownell also just up the road. He's in this. So these 4 cars could have a fight here soon. Kind of do already, actually. Denardi and Kerr are pretty close together as they come through 130R, and Kerr might have a move. Not quite. A little bit of bumper tag. A shot in the keister, as Steve Post would say.
I did like that when he went over that curve. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's the smart thing to do. You just kind of straighten the wheel, ride it out, and then you saw, I mean, it kind of worked out because then you get to defend the inside anyway.
Cooper Brownell to the pit lane, right in front of these two.
Nice little side-by-side, not fighting him too hard.
Yeah, I think Alcrudo certainly got pace over Dean. Dean's been doing a lot better lately. He had a great run, last time out at Watkins Glen. Today, not quite the same. But getting back on a track that he feels comfortable on again, and I think we can easily see him go for a podium down the road. I just don't think it's going to happen tonight, unfortunately. Meanwhile, the top 3 is still close together. This could also be maybe the best day ever for Dominic Turcotte to this point in his long career now in the North American Racing League. He's one of the OG guys. He's been around for a long time. I don't recall exactly what season he started. It might have even been back all the way back in season 1. Dominic would know, I'm sure, but regardless, he's been around a long time and just has never really had a huge run at the front. I don't think he's ever won a race. If it was, it happened early. I mean, I haven't seen him in victory. I don't know if we've ever talked to him. I really don't think we've ever talked to him here on the broadcast. So,
I don't know. And it's interesting because I remember not the last season I was in Division 2, but the season before that, I remember going into the last race, there was 3 people who we were separated by like 4 to 10 points, somewhere in there. Like any of us could have won the championship, and he was one of them. So I know he's consistent, if nothing else, but he's kind of had a down season compared to previous seasons, I think.
And here we go. Most of the field pitting this lap. Aarons, Turcotte, DeLeo, Thompson. I think Buenaventura likely will come in too. No, he stays out. Bejaran, though, comes in along with Stevenson and Gritsko. I would imagine we see Alcrudo. No, he stays out. Dean Kerr stays out. Denardi will come in the 666. And I think, we'll see Justin Cornette finally pit here as well in that injured number 18.
That was Hausman we saw go right by. He was trapped behind the 18 for quite a while. I think that slowed him up. That's not good if you're Mason.
And let's see how they all file back out. So Turcotte here is ahead of Aarons, who's ahead of DeLeo, who's ahead of Almiron, who's ahead of Hausman. So this is completely shaken up at the front of the field. Turcotte, he had a great pit stop. He's out ahead of Armando Aarons. That is huge.
Here we go. We got a Corvette up leading. That's excellent.
And Almiron's still going to have to pit, so tentatively, we don't know exactly where Wand will file out, but I'm going to call Turcotte first here, tentatively. So first would be Turcotte, second Aarons, third DeLeo, and fourth Hausman. And we've still got to slot Anthony Wand in there somewhere, likely battling here for the lead or second. This could be a maiden win for the 73.
A little bit missing the apex there in the hairpin, but I mean, he was bringing that gap down. It's almost 30 seconds, so yeah, we got to see. It's going to be close, but let's see. We're going to get him coming in. Surely.
I would think so, yeah. So we got 5 more cars to pit, it looks like. It's Almiron. Yeah, he still has to pit. I had to rethink through that. And let's see, Alcrudo, he's got to pit still. Yeah, so the top 4 I'll have to pit this time. Buenaventura comes in. Alcrudo should come in, I would think, here as well. There he is over the hill. And, whoa, a little close, but he makes it in. Dean Kerr will follow. So now we got to wait and see where Wayand is going to exit. Here he goes out of the pit lane. Watch for Dominic Turcotte. Here he comes down the hill. Chris, this is going to be close.
Oh, man. It's going to be...
Never mind. Not so close, actually.
Okay, yeah. All right.
I
That's
thought it was
okay,
gonna be
though.
a lot closer, but it is a short run, admittedly, out of the pit lane, straight onto the racetrack. So there you see your leaders at this point. DeLeo up to 4th. Houseman tentatively 5th once Emiliano pits. Wayne, Turcotte, and Aarons, they are all now split apart. This race that we had at the front, it gets split up by the pit lane, and as long as Anthony Wayne minds his P's and Q's here and doesn't do what he did at Watkins Glen, he could have a win on his hands.
Yeah, and I don't think Dominic's going to be pushing too terribly hard to catch him. At this point, you just want to stay in front of Aarons and, well, just keep that P2 spot. I think if you've got the pace, if you can catch up nice and easy, but you don't want to risk your best result of the season, got to be smart. But that gap is coming down. It's already 1.7, so we'll see what he's got in the tank. And he definitely lost out of the hairpin there. Not a great exit.
So here's the onboard with Dominic Turcotte. The gap ahead. I promise the time value there is correct. It's tracking the Dean Kerr because it's tracking whoever was ahead of Turcotte at the line for the name placements at least. But I promise you the delta there is correct. It's 1.9 seconds up to Anthony Wayand. I'll get a lap time comparison ready as well, but it's going to be interesting to see if Dominic can put pressure here on Wayand. Wayand was short at Watkins Glen, so I wonder, is he close again?
Could be. Maybe he's adjusted whatever he's using, or I don't know if maybe he's just doing it manually. I definitely recommend getting something like Crew Chief and flip that automatic on. You can adjust the kind of margins you want. Yeah, we could see through, it was interesting, through 130R, you could see Turcotte lifted a little bit, which even now, you should be able to get through there flat, but again, like if you're playing it safe, it's like, I'm not risking going on that curb on the outside. Let's just make sure we make it through.
Now, so there you see the lap times on the bottom of your screen. Obviously, this isn't exactly adjusted for Anthony Wayand's outlap. Of course, last lap was his outlap out of the pit lane, so it's a little bit longer there at the 226.7. But Turcotte a little bit faster there than Armando Aarons, so he's at least maintaining that gap, right? He's putting some time on the cars behind. So that's important. That's at least going to isolate these two at the top of the field. The question is, can Dominic make any time up? Or does Anthony Wayand have the best of him? Problems for Mason Houseman. He just lost some time and lost a spot. Pierre Thompson, it looks like on exit of the Degners. But he's following Emiliano Almiron, who still has to pit. He might not know that. Oversteps, gets loose there on exit. Oh, boy.
Oh, that's a heavy hit. Now, luckily, the Mustang's basically a tank, so he might be all right. Sometimes if you hit it front on, that Mustang can just really take a hit. But that was...
Just got a little too far over each set of curbs, and... Oh,
yeah. Now, you can get all the way up there. That's usually okay. That's kind of where you want to. You got to keep your inside tire just barely on that red and white, and there's a very fine line, but... Yeah, one thing is, that's another one, and that one's kind of less expected. Oh, this should be good. Really hard defending the inside.
Aaron's all
trying
in
to hang
the
on
inside of the
podium.
racetrack. Delay around the outside, trying to get back on the podium here today. Absolutely missed it in the sprint race, but he is going to get around Armando Aarons, and Jose DeLeo drives back up onto the podium. This is a championship drive if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's exactly what you got to do. He's doing everything that he has to. I mean, showed up late, no warm up, so the sprint race was basically a practice session for him. Had his own spin. I don't know if that's gonna rattle his cage any. I think he's looking forward. Though he might need to make sure he covers off the inside here if that Mustang gets a good exit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Be careful here into the hairpin. This could get messy, but Aaron's kind of backs off a little bit, and DeLeo can run his race. And You know, I think if you're Armando, you gotta kind of realize you've burnt your stuff up a little bit. You were out front in that opening stint to the pit stop. You know, he ran you down for a reason. You might not like the way he got by, but that's racing. That is just racing. He's definitely faster right now. And boy, I think this might be the first time we ever have 2 Corvettes on podium.
Really?
I don't think
it's
we've ever
not
had
always the
that.
most popular choice.
It's not at all. But there you see Dominic Turcotte very much in a Chevrolet Corvette, and Jose DeLeo as well this season in that Corvette. So that's a little bit abnormal, but I'm here for it. I like the change up at the front of the field. It's a Mercedes leading Anthony Wayand. About 7.5 minutes to go.
I mean, it kind of just shows you there's, with this division, with the AM division, what you're looking for is you almost don't want to pick, and that was kind of always my philosophy with the Ferrari, was you don't want to pick the fastest one because, you know, you're trying to overcome your skill gaps and fix those and get better. So it's training more difficult than you actually want to drive, you know what I mean?
It's definitely
so
more important, I think, to just take the car that you're most comfortable in. Like that should be your first consideration. I think if you want to take, you know, if you have like 3 or 4 that you're comfortable in, and if you want to take the fastest one out of those, that makes sense to me. But you want to go for a car that you are comfortable hustling and racing and is a little more forgiving rather than just taking the car that's fastest on the ragged edge, because you might be able to technically turn the faster lap with that car, but is that going to hold up over the course of a 40-minute race? You know, are you still going to be that much faster, or is it better to take the safer car that you won't crash and have the better race that way? It's definitely a battle of weighing different options as we are right to the end of this race here, Chris. I think it's time for driver of the day, don't you?
I do. I might let you pick this time. I feel like I keep getting all the easy ones.
There's been a revolution lately. You and Zach Murtis both are putting me on the spot first. That's not how this works, but that's all right. I'll go first. I can do it.
Okay.
So I'm going to flip over to positions gained. And I already know one guy I want to take, maybe even 2. I have to start with Jose DeLeo. In this feature race alone, from 14th up to 3rd, had the issues there, the spin even in the sprint race. 100%. Jose DeLeo deserves a nod here. That's, I think, without question. And, you know, in the scope of the championship, this could be the race that keeps it together for him. Keeps this from being a drop race, maybe, or even is just that much better of a drop race. So if he has a worse race later in the season, it's not that bad to fall back on this result. So that this is definitely the kind of day that you want in somebody going for the championship, to put the pieces back together and come back up into the top 3. So far for Jose, he is absolutely doing a fantastic job there. And I mean, my second pick, everything that I just said could be copied over for Pierre Thompson, and it would still be correct. 17th up to 5th, 12 spots gained here in this race. That is a stark flip of the field.
Definitely. I mean, and it wasn't once. I mean, he just kept having to do it over and over and over again. Seemed like every time he started to work his way to the front. Now, I don't want to, I don't know if I have enough wood over here to knock on, but he has done a great job. Every time something goes wrong, like, all right, just stay focused. I know I got this. Let's get back out there and make up some places. And top 5 finish for multiple disasters happening is impressive. So, very nice day for him and also for DeLeo.
Pass here, Mark Booley getting around Cooper Brownell, but then gets off the racetrack in between the Degners. There's a spun car. That's Miguel Alcrudo. Oh my goodness. We thought he would have the edge being up front in the sprint race as his rivals for the championship had issues. Never mind. It's going to be, I think, even between those 3 now, and it's going to just make this championship that much more interesting, these final 2 rounds. But quickly here, Chris, who you got for driver of the day?
All right, well, I'm going to go with Dominic Turcotte for one, just because, I mean, he's had a rough season, and I think he's had good pace all day, but he's also made really smart decisions. We've seen him kind of, you know, he hasn't put himself in unnecessary danger to risk blowing his shot here. As we see your pick kind of tracking him down, we'll see if he can hang on. But he's at least hopefully going to get a podium, I think. Well, for sure should, as long as he keeps it pointed in the right direction, get a podium. And let's see for the next pick. Well, let's see. Mitch is having a great day. Anthony Wayan, I mean, it's hard to look past him too, because man, see now this is why I go in second. It's tough, isn't it? So,
It is.
okay, well, if I have to pick, I think I'm just gonna take the cop out and say Anthony Wayan. He's you know, he's running a good race, solid race. I think he probably would have got around Gritsko, and he didn't hit him or anything. He, Gritsko had the chance to stay at the front, and pressure got to him a little bit, which I get, that happens. And Wayan is ready to put his stamp on it. I don't know, have we? Well, no, we've seen him already this year, I think.
I think he's got one win earlier in the season, but that vote is now live over on YouTube, the North American Racing League Driver of the Day vote that we do in every Pit Stop TV broadcast, except for last night, we forgot. Those dirt races, man, 35 laps at a 3rd or 3/8 mile dirt track.
Gone immediately.
Yeah, you might think it's still a decent length. No, we're talking like 12, 15 miles of racing. We do 12 or 15 miles here in the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
It's crazy how quick those races go, and you have cautions, changing things up, changing the flow. We had to switch sessions last night. We had the first session brick on us, and oh my gosh, it's crazy doing those dirt races. But I will say, we are actually going to go 1 lap short, just like Watkins Glen a couple of weeks ago. We are on lap 20 with less than 2 minutes to go when they cross the stripe. We were expecting 21 laps like the pros last week, but you see there's the white flag brought to you by Whiplash Simcams, waving by Barty the Flagman. But we are not getting that data over on the ticker. So I believe the drivers will have gotten the notification that it's the white flag, but our data is not updating to show the white flag. This happens every once in a while. It happened to Watkins Glen, if you recall. Didn't exactly expect it tonight.
Well, and you say the drivers will have seen that, but that might not be the case. I can't remember what race it was, but I had one where I pit for fuel and found out that I was on the last lap and gave up 2 or 3 positions. But I wasn't in the race lead, so that probably makes a difference. We see these two. There we go. I think everybody's kind of figured out how to get through there side by side now. This
is Almiron trying to get back by Cooper Brownell. Almiron up into 15th now, but this is still a disaster end to the day for him. And, looking at the guys in contention for the championship again, Pierre, Alcrudo, DeLeo, Almiron, they all had problems. All the top 4. Honestly, who we might need to look at going into next round is David Stevenson. He's the only one of the top 5 that hasn't had a major issue today. So watch out for Stevenson as we get into the final couple of rounds here of this championship. Meanwhile, through 130R and around to the Casio Triangle, Anthony Wayan has already taken the white flag, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. And here we go, down the front stretch. Anthony Wayan will get the feature race victory here today. It'll be a checkered for Wayan, 2nd for DeLeo, 3rd for Turcotte. And the next big fight on the racetrack is right here, Gritsko and Stevenson. 1 braking zone to go.
Gritsko's got it under control. Just take it nice and easy on the throttle right here. Don't take too much curb. Yep, very nice.
Alcrudo on Booley. This is for 11th. See if Alcrudo can get there. I don't think he will. He's going to have a run, though, Chris.
That was a good exit.
Really good exit, but not enough to overcome the 199 of Mark Booley.
One more lap.
Here we go. Guadagnoli and Tavela. This could be a pass right here in the final moments. Thiago's had a bad day here, too. Guadagnoli defensive. Oh, contact there in the final corner between these two, and that actually puts Bob out to an advantage. I think he's got this spot now down the hill. Oh, Thiago may have got a penalty from that. Straight to the pit lane for him, and that will not serve. That will put a time penalty on his result. That's going to be hugely unfortunate for Thiago Tabela. He's going to lose a few spots as DeMarco comes across 19th, Jenkins 20th, and here is Justin Cornette, who will finish 21st, the final finisher here today at Suzuka. And as he crosses the line, yes, Tabela gets dropped down to 21st, so it's a top 20 technically for Justin Cornette. And we'll take a look back at your unofficial race results, but a comeback big time for Jose De Leo just might keep him in the championship. Who knows? We'll see when we get to VIR in a couple of weeks, but to look over your unofficial race results today here from Suzuka Circuit for the feature race, Anthony Wayand on top, and that number 81. He will get the win over Jose De Leo and Dominic Turcotte. A couple of Corvettes there in second and third. Armando Aarons fourth. Pierre Thompson fifth. Mason Houseman had a great day going. This feature race just didn't really go his way. I think he might have burned his stuff up a little bit. Fell back to sixth. We'll see what he can do as we get to some rounds, some tracks that he might know a little better these next couple of weeks. Mitch Bonaventura there in 7th, Christian Gritzko 8th, David Stevenson and Armando Bejaran wrap up your top 10.
All right, so the top 10 was the story of recoveries and all the good days, but back here and starting in the P11, Mark Booley, we get into everybody who's kind of had the rough short end of the stick there. P11, Mark Booley. P12, Miguel Alcrudo. P13, Dean Kerr. P14, Jeff Denardi. 15th, we have Emiliano Almiron. 16th, Cooper Brownell. 17th is Robert Guadagnoli. 18th is Alex DeMarco. 19th, we have Devin Jenkins. And finally, 20th, we have Justin Cornette.
And your final four on the day here in the feature race, Thiago Tabela, Logan Smith, Diego Melo, and Clifford Allison III. I'm not sure what happened to Clifford there early in the race, but out after about 5 laps of racing there for him today. We are waiting on drivers to come join us here, Chris. Nobody has made the trip over the Pit Stop TV Discord just yet. And Jordan White in the YouTube chat saying we missed something. I don't think we missed anything there, but we can take a look again at the upcoming races for the amateur side. Of course, out to VIR next up, Road America to cap the season off. It's still nearly a month away. So I know, it does feel like it's right around the corner, and it truly is as far as racing goes, Chris, but with the schedule we have built out with the pros and AMs alternating weeks, it's still a little while away. We've still got to get through the next couple of rounds of the Pro Series too, and then they will cap things off at Watkins Glen later on in May. But drivers have joined us finally, so we can go ahead and talk with our winner and some others here after a couple of races at Suzuka Circuit. And Anthony Wayand, I know it was it was entirely bittersweet at Watkins Glen last week. A great day until it wasn't, and able to come back and fire back, get a feature win here today. How much more satisfying is it now that you came back from running out of fuel or whatever it was last week at Watkins Glen?
Well, Watkins Glen is probably one of my, it's almost like my I'm really good at that track. I really don't like it, but it races well, and it's fast, and for some reason I'm just naturally good at it. I didn't even practice that much for it. And it was my fault for looking down or not looking down and seeing how many X's I had, and then getting the last one. So Suzuka's probably my favorite track. So yeah, it feels really good to finally get a win in a feature.
I know Chris and I were talking recently, in this race about selecting the car you like, but it does also matter about the tracks you like. I know, we've visited a ton of world-class facilities at this point in time with this series, and this season it feels like we were going to some of the bigger ones, some of the tracks we get to use a lot more often, like Watkins Glen and Suzuka. So, being at a track you didn't like last week, still performing great. Being at a track you do like this week, winning here in the feature race, how much you like the track influence the way you finish?
I feel like liking the track gives you a ton of options. I knew that I had pace. I just missed pole by just a little bit, and I was pretty conservative. And I knew in our practices I was 1 or 2. So I knew if I could at least save fuel leapfrog some guys, and then I knew I had the pace to just save fuel and cut it tight. And those last 4 or 5 laps after the pit stop, I was just kind of cruising, put it on autopilot, and I think liking the track, a lot and being decent at it gives you that option to do that. So it was kind of cool.
VIR next up in a couple of weeks. Do you like that track or not?
That's probably my least. I'm not probably I get the least amount of laps on that thing, but Mexico City was the same kind of deal, and it was still a decent finish. So yeah, we'll see.
And you're kind of a long shot, but still in it for the championship. This obviously is going to help you. I mean, have you put too much thought into that, or is it kind of just, if we're in it, we're in it?
No, it's pretty much one race at a time. I know I've blown a couple. Like Spa was another one where I knew I was going to be top. I won the heat in that one, and I just, made some rookie mistakes. I've only been doing this for a couple years, and you can still see that I'm making some of those mistakes. Obviously, Watkins Glen, Spa. Yeah, so it's finally just coming together, learning from those mistakes, and yeah.
There you go, Anthony. Way into the good day here at Suzuka Circuit. Good to talk to you, Anthony. Congratulations.
All right, thanks, guys.
And Anthony is, of course, up for Driver of the Day vote. He's actually leading the vote right now, Chris. So a good day for him, possibly getting better here shortly. Jose DeLeo is not joined yet for an interview, but we can give you 3rd place here, Chris. That's Dominic Turcotte. All
right, yeah, it was a good day for Dominic. It was kind of been like we've been talking about. It's kind of been a rough season for you, Dom, and it's good to see you finally at the front. I know you can get there. I've seen you there. I've raced against you there, and I was telling him during the race a few seasons ago, you almost had a championship under your belt. So, how do you feel about finally turning a little bit of luck around?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mitch and I were P1 and P2 in the championship last year, and we haven't even sniffed the top 5 in any race. So in this season, so it just speaks to how strong the grid is this year. And yeah, it was good. The car felt really good today.
Yeah, it was great. We had 2 Corvettes actually on the podium, yourself and DeLeo. So you guys have been racing each other for a while. So what was it? Did you think you could hold on to that P2 spot? I thought you were going to do it, but DeLeo he came up pretty quick, and we know he can. He's not afraid to send it on you.
Yeah. I was hoping I could, but he had something figured out in the hairpin that I didn't. And he just took it extremely easily with 2 minutes left. So I just gave it to him, and I think he gained like 12 positions this race. So I think he was on a charge. I wasn't gonna stop him, or either way, I don't think.
Well, I think it was a wise move. Sometimes you just gotta do the smart thing. I think we've all been there where. You're just like, look, this is the best that I've had, and it's good. I mean, you need those good finishes. Hopefully this turns into some momentum, and we see you back up here more regularly. How are you feeling about next race there at VIR?
Yeah, it seems like the whole season has kind of been dominated by front engine cars, so I don't know. We'll see. I like the Corvette though. It feels really good. Some tracks it's just not so good. This one felt really good at.
Well, it looked good too. So great result. Good to talk to you as always. Hopefully it feels good at VIR too, and we can talk to you again. Great race.
Thanks, Chris.
There you go, Dominic Turcotte with a big day here at Suzuka. Good to talk to him, and still waiting on that first win for him, but at least good to check in. And we're actually going to go down and grab the sprint race winner who is here waiting alongside. That's Christian Gritzko, who was able to, I'm sorry, not the sprint race, but the sprint race winner of the invert. Not the winner of the race, but the invert. So you started this race on pole, Christian. I know obviously didn't go the way you wanted, but still here at the end with a pretty solid result. And it feels like it's been a lot of bad luck this season. What happened there on lap 1?
100%. A lot of bad luck this season, and same thing. I changed my brake bias just to warm everything up for the parade lap, and I just forgot to change it back. And at that turn in particular, I just swung around. I'm like, of course this is happening to me. But even so, it was fun to build my way back up to the field and all that stuff. It's a lot more fun. Honestly, I'm allergic to first place. It's not going to happen this season, I think.
Well, looking ahead at the final couple of races, VIR, Road America, you know, how much maybe can you change your preparation? Is that part of it that might help going into these last couple of races? Try and get up there, maybe go to Moradnes for a coaching session, try to bring the fight to these guys.
Maybe. VIR is always one of the tougher tracks for me. There's a lot of blind turns, and I don't flow very well there. But Road America, there's a chance that I might get something there, even hopefully a podium. But I don't want to shoot too high, just in case. I want to stay, grounded a little bit, because the season's filled with a whole bunch of good drivers, and they're all moving their way up.
And we were just talking with Dominic Turcotte. He mentioned your teammate Mitch Bonaventura. Mitch was in the championship fight last season for this division, and it's like this season everything has completely changed. We have a few of these guys just kind of outrunning everybody. Have you guys learned anything from this extra step of competition? Of course, going back to 3 divisions versus 2, things have shaken up. You're no longer racing on the same night as the guys in the class up from you. I mean, it's a little different, but it's still a lot of the same players, just in different places.
100%. Because we're split up from the pros and the pro-ams. There's a lot more of us on the racetrack racing for a position, and ultimately a lot of new drivers, a lot of drivers that are probably in contention to go up to the pro-am from this league as well. So a lot of competition that we weren't expecting to really come up against. We thought we'd be up at the top again, but that's just the way racing is. Every single season something new happens.
Well, Christian, good to check in with you. Hopefully we're talking to you a few spots higher soon enough, and hey, hopefully we can see that. I can't talk today. I've been stuttering all day long, but hopefully we see the 91 on the podium. There we go.
100%. I haven't seen you guys in a while, so it'll be nice to be back.
That's Christian Gritzko with an 8th place finish, actually, in both races. Hey, at least you're consistent today.
For sure.
All right, Christian, good to talk to you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
If nothing else, Chris, he can at least hang his hat on the fact that he was consistent in his finishes. I know they aren't the finishes that he wants, of course, but still not bad at all there for Christian Gritzko, and I think showed that he can, when things go right, still battle with these guys and get some spots. And he spun lap 1 off into the barrier. He came back to 8th. That's pretty solid.
That's good recovery. That's a good big mess of points he got himself. And, like we already touched on, it's not ideal. It's not optimal. But, I mean, every point counts. And that's a whole lot when you've been having a rough season. And so that's what you need. You need good results to start building on each other and give you confidence going into the next one. So hopefully we see him again.
And how about Anthony Wayand, our driver of the day winner here today? That's an extra couple, I think $20 for him. So congratulations to Anthony Wayand. He wins the driver of the day vote. Empire Racing showed up for him today and got him this feature race win. I know each round technically has a winner, and it's compiled between the heat race and the feature, but for Wayand, it is a feature win and a driver of the day win. So pretty solid day for Anthony here at the office. And next up, again, these guys are off for a week and come back at VIR April the 30th. And the finale is still, like I said earlier, about a month away, 4 weeks away. So, we still got plenty of time to go through the motions with Pro and still have the race at VIR before we crown the champion at Road America. But it is crunch time, Chris. I mean, from your position, I know you guys have an extra race still. You still have to go to Watkins Glen on the pro side, but looking at this, thinking about putting yourself in the shoes of these AM drivers, what would you be doing these last 2 rounds if you're in this spot to fight for points? Obviously, we don't know what the points look like yet, so we don't know exactly what the picture is, but what would you be doing maybe a little bit differently for your prep?
Well, I mean, it never hurts to reach out in the Discord and see, there's a lot of experienced drivers who are usually willing to help, and especially, if you're weighing, you just scooped up a few dollars, maybe turn that around and invest it in yourself, Get a little bit of coaching maybe at VIR or whichever tracks you're struggling at the most, and that can make a huge difference. That can, one coaching session for an hour or 2, you could shave, 4 or 5 tenths off your time. It makes a huge difference.
So a couple of rounds left to go here for the AM drivers, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out in the last couple of weeks. Still waiting on points, but I'm just so curious. I'm really excited to see where these guys are at into Virginia in a couple of weeks' time. But a big thank you goes out to our partners with this series, of course, Maradness, JS Consulting, Screw Compressor Service Incorporated, and Rocket Designs. And speaking on the idea of maybe grabbing some coaching, Maradness has a bunch of great coaches, Giuliano Romagnolo and Daniel Morad and so many others over there do a great job with the coaching program and get you up to speed. Of course, there's a couple of other options. I know Dina Filippa does some coaching as well within the league, but those are kind of the league coaches, if you will. Maradness, and then Dino does a little bit, I believe, still. Those guys are the ones to go to, and I don't know what their schedules are like. I don't know if they, to book out in advance, but check each one of them out. Certainly check out Maradness and give them a nod and let them know that we sent you over that way. JS Consulting, of course, is a lot on the back end for this series, and SCS and Rocket Designs help out where they can as well. And a big thank you as well to our partners, Whiplash SimCams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murder Esports, CC's Business, North American Racing League, and then, hey, Whiplash Creative, TZO Designs, the brand new ones here on this graphic, both providing some prizes, some awards, if you will, for the fantasy games that we have going on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday that we, again, hope to bring into future seasons of the North American Racing League. There's the league, or not the league, but the Pit Stop Discord there at the bottom of your screen. You can join in. It's very simple to play, Chris. I mean, we talked at length about it earlier, but I really think this helps bump it up a notch from just being a sim league like any other sim league on the service to having something you can interact with even if you're outside of the league.
Yeah, it's so much fun to be watching that tree and just seeing where your guys are, and then man, when like at Daytona when a caution would come out, I see a bunch of smoke. I'm like, oh no, not one of my guys, please. So it's such a fun time. I really like it. I think it was a great idea. I hope we bring it over to this. I've got some ideas for picks already.
Oh boy.
Well, this one I think I'll do better at. Yeah.
So again, it's free to play. There are free rewards up for grabs. TZO Designs is putting up a couple of diecast stands for each winner. I believe one for each winner, and not each round winner, each overall winner at the end of the season. I should be clear on that. I will say though that Anthony over at TZO Designs is working on 143rd scale sports cars diecast stands. He actually sent a couple pictures to me today. They're not in the ad that'll play again here at the end of the broadcast yet, but I'm trying to see if I can maybe just pull a picture into the broadcast briefly. I can't find the chat it was in. What the heck? Well, anyways, just know. Oh, here we go. I got it. Just know, this is for any kind of diecast, really. NASCAR diecast, sports car diecast, what have you. And give me a moment, and I will be able to put this up on screen. Okay, this is super cool. And I wouldn't be going to this length if it wasn't super cool to put on the broadcast.
They are really nice.
We've got a couple of pictures out there in the Pit Stop TV Discord that you can go off of. I am mere seconds away from having it on screen right about now. This is what you're looking at. So this is 3D printed. It's got the banking like you're at Daytona, the double yellow line there on the bottom. It was initially set up to be for stock cars, maybe at Daytona, for example, but sports cars race there too. Not this season in this league, but of course the Daytona 24, and you see the couple of Penske GTPs there on that diecast stand. But that is so cool. He's got the safer barrier, the catch fence, the track, everything. It can wall mount. It can just be a stand. It is such a cool concept, cool design. And again, TZO Designs. There's an Etsy link and everything that we can get you. They're pretty affordable too for what they are. He's done a fantastic job with them, and I'm looking to get myself some here, hopefully. So again, TZO Designs going to provide those for these fantasy winners and trying to line them up more for future seasons and everything. It's been a really cool start to this new partnership. But we can wrap things up. I know we're going a little bit long here, so upcoming shows for us here at Pit Stop TV. These are the next 3, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Each 3 of those leagues that have fantasy picks available, well, here they are. the All-American Racing Network, the NORA Retro Cup Series, and the BRB Sundance Pro Series. You can make fantasy picks for each one and see how you do. Just along, I mean, you score points with the drivers that you pick, and it is just such a cool concept. It's been a lot of fun to implement.
It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I got a busy weekend. I'm going to be watching, when I'm not at a track, I'll be watching racing on Pit Stop TV. So I'll be just nonstop racing for the next probably 3 days, I think.
It'll be a lot of fun. Well, thanks for watching here this evening. It's been a pleasure as always. That'll wrap things up here from Suzuka Circuit. Always a fun time with the North American Racing League, and it certainly was again today. As, uh-oh, the B-roll doesn't want to play. Why is that not working? There it goes. It caught up. All right. It's been one of those days with technology, but thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you all next time here at Pit Stop TV, hopefully, for the All-American Racing Network. This coming Sunday morning, Texas Motor Speedway, the final Dash for Cash race. Do not miss it. Sunday morning, 9:45 a.m. Eastern. Be there. We'll see you there.